According to IRS Form 990, the filings reveal disturbing financial irregularities, okay, with Jermaine Sherman. That's how he files it. He doesn't file it under Dr. Umar. It's Jermaine, okay?
The rumors about Dr. Umar Johnson allegedly being arrested, all because he been scamming and scheming for the past 20 years. He been working on building the school, but he acquired millions and the school's still not up and running.
And the bank told me to enter my 16-digit card number. I did that. They told me they had no record of my account. They had no record of my account.
The feds just dropped a bombshell on Dr. Umar's whole empire, and this time it's serious. He's facing brand new federal charges that could keep him locked away for decades. We're talking RICO, tax fraud, wire fraud, the works. And here's the kicker. Investigators claim they've got hard proof tying those shady donations he collected for the school directly to the fraud case. This isn't some internet rumor. The feds say they've got receipts. Now, Dr. Umar is scrambling because for once he can't just talk his way out of it with his usual speeches. People everywhere are asking the same thing. Is Dr. Umar really the fraud everyone's been whispering about, or is he being framed by the system?
For Black excellence! You know, you've been getting a lot of slack about the school. People saying, what's going on with the school? I love the good and the bad. Let them hate. So hate is the oxygen I use to elevate. Hate me if you want. Tell them, when we talked about the school, first, give them an update of where you are with the school. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, first of all, 2014, I took my first donation for FDMG in St. Louis, Missouri. 2019, we purchased a 4-building former Black charter school campus in Wilmington, Delaware. That's where we are. This is 2025, so 5 years to buy the school, 6 years to renovate the school. Right now, all renovations are done except we got to tile the floor and rekey the classrooms. Cosmetic surgery. Once we tile the floor and rekey the classrooms, which will be done by the end of this summer, we're going to apply for our certificate of occupancy. And once we get our certificate of occupancy, we're going to have a grand opening celebration, and all y'all better be there. But if you hated on me, keep your ass in Cleveland.
Like, Dr. Umar is not a real person that anybody should be taking any advice from. I hope that we all understand that, but it seems like some folks are...
Before we break down all these charges, we gotta rewind to the exact moment Umar realized the walls were closing in, because the meltdown was unforgettable. He hopped on Instagram Live, and instead of his usual fiery lectures, he sounded genuinely shaken, almost broken. Umar started ranting about how the system was plotting to crush a Black man just trying to uplift his people. But this time, the energy was different. He wasn't just preaching, he looked rattled, like he just stared down a nightmare he couldn't escape. And then he dropped a bomb. He admitted his accounts had been frozen. At first, people thought it was just another one of his rants, but now it all makes sense because those very accounts are front and center in the Fed's fraud case. What's even wilder, that video wasn't just random. Turns out Umar filmed it right after federal agents told him he had to surrender himself. If you watch closely, you can literally see the moment the reality hit him. His empire, his grift, his whole carefully built image was crumbling right in front of our eyes.
Dr. Umar has access to no money right now because my personal account contains all of my money. I only send it to Apple Pay and PayPal as necessary. So the Prince of Pan-Africanism, for the first time in my life, is without any digital currency. So for my loyal supporters out there, if you can spare a few dollars so I can take care of Queen Mother Ifatunde and myself until my bank account is frozen or canceled so I can get my money back and open up a new account, please hit my Apple Pay or hit my PayPal.
Dr. Umar needs a 9 to 5. He need a white. Everybody know that white bitch go get it and come back with nigga. You know how to put some pimping and some macking down. That's why I say white is right, nigga. And I'm talking about Charleston white. That's why I tell him all that preaching about don't sleep with a white woman. Do you think a white woman will have her king that's a psychologist with a doctor in front of his name out begging before the...
So word is Dr. Umar did eventually turn himself in, but not before sending out strict instructions to his inner circle. No cameras, no press, no statements, nothing. He wanted this to be as quiet as possible because he knew the second those mugshots hit the internet, the whole world would finally see him as the scammer he's been accused of for years. But here's the twist. While Umar was trying to sneak into custody without a scene, the feds had other plans. Behind the scenes, they were preparing to leak documents that would completely blow his cover and confirm everyone's suspicions. And just when Umar thought he was safe from the spotlight, guess who popped up? Tasha K, and you already know, when she shows up, the receipts are coming out hot. In a fiery YouTube video, Tasha didn't just gossip. She laid out evidence and hard numbers exposing what Umar's really been doing with that so-called charity organization. She dug straight into his prize project, the school he's been fundraising for all these years. And this is important because the FBI indictment specifically names those missing donations as part of their racketeering and fraud case.
According to IRS Form 990, the filings reveal disturbing financial irregularities, okay, with Jermaine Shamar. That's how he files it. He doesn't file it under Dr. Umar as Jermaine, okay? Now, the nonprofit shows assets of $634,436 as of 2024. This is what he's saying that he raised. This is what he reported. Okay, now you know he go begging inside of that car without a haircut every other day or on the side of the building in which he lives in, because they say his house is right there on a row house in Philadelphia somewhere. Okay, according to the IRS filings, this is inconsistent reporting of contributions. Okay, now while official filings show that only $321,408 in total contributions over the last 5 years, evidence suggests Johnson raised significantly more through other channels.
You follow me? I hope it don't get to the point where we got to drag the city into court for discrimination against us, because they never thought we would finish and we done. You know what I'm saying? And I got to thank y'all for that, because
this is my theory. Like I said, I'm gonna put it out there. This is the way Umar is gonna be able to extend this school finesse for another 5 to 10 years. He knows the school is not up to code. Like I said, he knows that this school is not up to code. It's not going to pass inspection. I mean, I hope that I'm wrong. I hope it does pass, but I doubt it. Just from the videos that I've seen of the school, that school is no way in the world it's going to pass inspection. So what Umar is going to do is try to switch it like the city is against them. They're coming against.
According to Tasha, Umar's been dipping into those donation funds to bankroll his own lifestyle, all while dodging accountability. She claimed he flat out refused to provide a transparent accounting of the money because he didn't want to deal with taxes. And now, that's exactly why the feds are circling him like sharks. Tasha broke it all down with cold, hard figures, and once you see the math, there's no way to deny what's been happening. Every dollar that went missing lined up perfectly with the fraud allegations. And let's not forget, Umar never had any serious capital of his own to begin with. He wasn't some businessman matching donations with his own money. He was relying 100% on the public's pockets to bring this dream school to life. Every single dollar that's ever gone into Umar's school came straight from the people's pockets, and that's where the problems begin. For years, Dr. Umar has dodged every question about transparency. He's never given a clear answer on how much money was collected, where it went, or what it was really used for. Instead, he hops online demanding that African Americans ditch the public school system and pour their funds into his dream project. Plenty of folks saw through it from the jump and called it what it really was, a grift. Even the name of the school raised eyebrows. Umar insists he's a direct descendant of Frederick Douglass, but here's the problem. He's never provided proof, and the actual Douglass family has publicly denied any connection to him. Yet he kept using that legacy to prop up his image and reel in more donations. Still, many supporters believed in his vision and gave their hard-earned money expecting results. But the school still closed, and every time the opening date gets close, suddenly, there's a brand new issue that delays everything. At first, it seemed like bad luck, but now with these federal charges circling, prosecutors are pointing out something darker. Those delays look like calculated stunts designed to cover up missing funds. The most recent setback raised serious red flags. Back in June, Umar reported that his school had been vandalized. He claimed the damage wiped out the library, cultural artifacts, and educational supplies. But here's the shady part. Not a single part of the actual building structure was touched. Just enough damage to delay the opening, again. And prosecutors are saying it looks more like a staged excuse than a real break-in. And if that wasn't messy enough, Umar made it worse with what he did next. To sell the story, he posted a video of himself interrogating a group of kids, suggesting they were the ones behind the so-called vandalism.
Pan-Africanism, brothers and sisters. I'm back again. While I was on the live, the children had snuck into the school, which means they knew the door was unlocked. Listen to me, brothers and sisters. For children to know that a door is opened, and I was only away from the school for 30 days. For children to know that the door was open, and I was only away from the school for 30 days. For children to know the door was open and I was only away from the school for 30 days, I wonder when they broke in. I wonder when they broke in, because if the children already know the door was open.
He blasted that footage online without even having permission from the parents, leaving people shocked and furious. Instead of sympathy, it made him look reckless, manipulative, and desperate to keep the grift alive. Police couldn't even piece together what really went down with that so-called vandalism. The only evidence Umar ever put out was that tiny little clip he posted online. And let's be real, nothing in that video looked like damage serious enough to shut down a school for an entire year. People instantly called foul, and one viral comment nailed the mood perfectly. Where's the proof of this damage? Was anyone charged with vandalism? Were you insured? Why no photos? Or is the real vandalism you and this entire project? And then another person, someone with actual banking experience, tore into his excuses about frozen accounts, saying his explanation didn't even line up with how the system really works. In short, Umar's story was falling apart, and fast. A few weeks later, the real truth came out, and it made him look even worse. Turns out there wasn't some evil plot to sabotage his school. Umar had simply been failing to pay basic property fees and utility bills tied to the building. The so-called school was actually on the verge of being auctioned off after weeks of unpaid charges. Reports even showed that if he didn't pay up, the property was set to go under the hammer by August 25th, 2025.
Ain't nobody, how PayPal freeze your account? I thought a nigga supposed to have a credit union, a bank, Cash App, Zelle. How the PayPal? You trust the white man, that mother doctor, talking that nigga talk. Oh, you tell me the good doctor. You trust white folks' system this much as a Pan-African, you put all your eggs in the digital basket with nothing. I call bullshit. I think he a fraud. I was just starting to like it. I was just starting to like that nigga. I'm calling bullshit. You will never ever. That's why I made it my business. When I started my 501c3, I was not going to be a beggar because I had a Jewish attorney who teach me, Charleston, you have to find a way to self-sustain your organization for your...
That's right. The building was about to be snatched away. So what did Umar do? He went on defense mode as usual. He cried out that the fees were punitive and discriminatory, trying to make it look like the state was targeting him and trying to destroy his vision. Then he pulled the sympathy card and begged the community for more donations to save the school. Classic Umar playbook. But Tasha K wasn't buying it, and she let the world know that Umar was spinning this narrative not just for clout, but to stall and dodge the looming federal charges. And just when you thought things couldn't get any messier, the bombshell dropped. Leaked federal documents hit the internet, and they exposed something Umar couldn't wiggle out of. A full-on PayPal scam tied directly to those donations. That's when it became crystal clear. When the feds weren't just circling him, they were about to lock in. According to the leaked federal report, Dr. Umar allegedly raked in over $1.5 million in donations through GoFundMe and PayPal, not just for his school, but for all kinds of charity causes he claimed were designed to uplift the Black community. But here's the shady part. Nobody actually knows where that money went, and there's no proof these so-called charities ever accomplished anything. Whenever critics pressed him about it, Umar pulled the same stunt, jump online, drop a video blaming the system, and warn his followers not to fall for the attacks on his character.
GoFundMe campaigns, all right, that he's been suspended from through 2014 and 2015 of over $400,000 raised before the account suspension. That's a lot of money for GoFundMe, okay? PayPal donations, approximately $125,000 documented. Speaking fees and direct donations, estimated $750,000. This man raised all this money and ain't got a haircut yet. Total estimated funds, 1.6 to 2 million that they can account for. And this is with them digging. They've been on this. Okay. And we're going to talk about how much they've been on it. And that's the reason why that damn school is on the auction block right now. Vacant school that never opened. And he promised to open it in 2013 and kept pushing back the opening date and blamed us. Well, not me, y'all, if y'all donated, as to why it can't open, because black people can't stick together. Okay. Even though he was running it like a mom.
For years, that strategy worked. But eventually, too many questions started piling up. And Umar didn't have answers. Charleston White was one of the loudest voices to call him out, and he didn't hold back. Charleston flat out accused Umar of preying on black women, using emotional guilt trips to squeeze money out of them. He exposed how Umar plays the role of a protector, pandering to women and claiming to be their ally, when in reality, all he wants is their wallets. And honestly, Charleston wasn't lying. Umar constantly parades himself as a champion for black women, even dragging celebrities like Jonathan Majors for dating outside the race.
You mentioned Umar Johnson, and I don't know what's going on with his school, but I know that
you know what's going on with the school. It ain't been built. Shit, ain't nobody seen the classroom. Just seen the flag hanging out, flying in front of that.
He's been talking about it for 15 years, 16 years or something like that.
Yeah. He been lying. And, results is everything.
Yeah.
Results is everything. I ain't never built nothing begging other than Joel Osteen, but his daddy passed him to church.
Yeah, that is true.
His daddy passed. I ain't never seen him build nothing begging.
But the second women question his shady moves, he flips the script, insulting them and dismissing their concerns. That fake ally mask starts to slip real quick. What makes this even wilder is that it's not just his enemies or so-called haters dragging him now. His own supporters are quietly walking away. People who once believed in him are pulling their donations, demanding accountability, and even unfollowing him on social media. Some have gone public, calling him a crook and even labeling him a potential criminal. And the biggest blow, his longtime ally Tariq Nasheed turned on him. Tariq sat down with DJ Vlad and shocked everyone by admitting that, at first, he genuinely believed in Umar's school project. That's major, because if even Umar's closest friends are saying the FBI might be right, then the illusion he built around himself is officially cracking wide open. What started as the so-called Pan-African dream quickly unraveled into straight-up fraud. Tariq revealed that he personally poured money into Umar's school project, believing it was something real. But his faith started to crumble once Umar shifted his focus from the mission to chasing clout on social media, stirring up drama, and diving headfirst into conspiracy theories. The breaking point came when Tariq tried to pull him aside and warn him, stop getting distracted and stick to the vision. Instead of listening, Umar doubled down on the antics. That was the final straw. Watching the Vlad interview, you could actually see Tariq wrestling with it in real time, realizing that Umar wasn't just misguided, he was shady to the core. But here's the part Umar probably wishes stayed buried. The FBI didn't just start looking at him over donations. He's been on their radar for years. The very first red flag dates back to 2018, when the State Board of Psychology accused him of practicing without a license. Embarrassing doesn't even cover it. This exposed a whole pattern of deception, and now the FBI is using it to show he's been running scams from the very beginning. Of course, Umar did what he always does: deny, deflect, and play the victim. He ranted about being targeted, complained that Facebook and GoFundMe suspended his accounts for no reason, and begged the community not to fall for the so-called smear campaign. And for a while, it worked. People felt sorry for him and rallied behind him. But the receipts told a completely different story. Online, there are countless videos of Umar acting like a licensed shrink, throwing around psychological lingo and presenting himself as an expert. He even used those same tactics, guilt trips, persuasion tricks, and pseudo-academic talk, to convince people to keep pouring money into his pockets. Let's not forget, he even self-published that book, Psycho-Academic Holocaust, The Special Education and ADHD Wars Against Black Boys, using it as a prop to bolster his fake credibility. What looked like empowerment at the time is now being dragged into court as evidence of manipulation. That book he waved around for years basically claimed that mental illnesses and learning disabilities were being deliberately misdiagnosed in Black communities to discriminate against Black children. But then, a few years later, Umar went on video saying ADHD and mental illnesses weren't even real. That flip-flop alone showed the cracks in his whole persona. Denying he practiced psychology while still acting like an expert didn't just make him look like a hypocrite. It raised alarms that he might be running operations that could seriously harm people. When the Fed started digging, everything unraveled fast. They uncovered what many had been whispering for years. Dr. Umar wasn't the man he built himself up to be. The school, the frozen accounts, the self-proclaimed credentials, even the so-called Pan-African mission, every single thing he thought he buried is now Exhibit A in a massive federal case. And this time the walls are closing in. His supporters are peeling away, his credibility is crumbling, and the receipts are stacking higher than ever. Unless he somehow pulls off a miracle, Dr. Umar isn't walking back into his so-called academy. He's walking straight into a cell, and this saga is about to explode even more in court. What do you think about this whole scandal? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button, share this video with someone who's been following the story, and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And trust me, the next video you're about to see on your screen dives into even more wild celebrity drama you won't want to miss.